Hey dudes and chicks, and neither if those rules don't apply to you, welcome to Makeup for Last Time. My name is Katie. Today I am going to be popping this palette's cherry. It's the Valkyrie palette by, I can't tell if it's XNO, like Hugs and Kisses, or if it's Xeno. I don't fucking know how it's pronounced, but it's a collaboration between XNO Cosmetics and Beautiful Tragedy, MUE. She's on Instagram. I actually went and looked at her Instagram page. I'll leave it linked down below so you guys can go check her out. One of my subscribers, Anna, suggested this palette to me, and I took one look at it and I bought it. It was during my video last time that I did. One of my last videos, and when I talked about how I wasn't really inspired by any of the new releases, and it hasn't been difficult for me to buy any palettes because of all the new releases fucking suck. And she suggested that I look at the Valkyrie palette, and I took one look at it, and I had actually seen it in a new makeup releases video. It was probably either Nikki Raven's or Leorah's, because those are basically the only two that I watch. They're very thorough, so anything that's going to be released is going to be on one of those two videos, and I usually watch them both. So I can't remember which one it was, but I saw this palette on there, and when Anna suggested it to me, I basically was like, submit payment. Remember I told you I was like having a really hard time hitting submit payment, which is good because I actually thought I was actually starting to like lose my interest in makeup for a minute there. So I wasn't. I was just waiting for a good release, and since we get so many fucking new releases all the time, it actually makes a lot of sense that I haven't like hit submit payment to every fucking palette that's ever come out. So anyways, if you're interested in seeing how I got this badass fucking look, or if you want to know my thoughts, my final thoughts on the palette, or if you just like to watch, then hang out. Okay, so I'm already primed with my P. Louise primer in Room 02, which I almost always am, unless I specify otherwise. I'm going to start with the with the color Yggdrasil. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'll probably Google it. And I'm using my JESSUP 227, which might be a mistake, but and I'm just dragging this through the crease and going all the way to my inner corner. I like the way this looks dirty, and I don't want to use the word grungy because I feel like that's kind of a buzzword, and I'm not saying that it doesn't look grungy, it does, but it actually looks dirty, and I like that because it's kind of speaks to the spirit of this palette, right? The Valkyrie palette. A long time ago, when coronavirus first started happening and I was Sarah Connoring the fuck out, I was pretty much preparing for battle. I was just barely hanging on to my sanity and like continuing to show up for my channel and show up for some things, and I was gonna do a video about the different ways that cosmetics were used in history, and how different cultures used cosmetics for battle way back in the day. And so like we all watch Vikings, I mean obviously Viking. However, according to the research I've done, it wasn't actually the Vikings that wore cosmetics for battle as we see on Vikings. Now, is it amazing? Does it like devalue the value of the show Vikings? Fuck no, that's a badass show. However, according to my research, and anybody, I reserve the right to be wrong at all times, you guys let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. My research states that the Picts were actually the people who wore cosmetics during battle. And you'll find, I think in Wikipedia, it states that I'm writing something right now, and so if my language sounds like super like old-timey and like fucking ridiculous, it's because I'm writing a formal book actually, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that here in a bit. I really like this. I think it looks cool. So next I'm going to use my BEILT dense blending crease brush, we'll call it. I'm just going to make it up. I'm just going to name it myself. And I'm going to go into the color Shield Maiden. So yeah, it was actually the Picts, and if you and according to my research, it said that the Picts were actually would become Scotland. And so when you look at like William Wallace, like that is actually the more historically accurate depiction of cosmetics. And in Wikipedia, it says, oh my God, can you guys actually believe I'm about to finish a thought? In Wikipedia, it talks about that cosmetics were worn to distinguish, oh my God, look at how cool that looks, to distinguish military status. And so, AKA battle, right? And so when the shit was going down with coronavirus and I was certain we were going to war, I was going to do a video about the historical uses of cosmetics, not just for establishing class or nobility or to try to make you look pretty, but it was also used as to signify military status and also for battle. And so I wanted to do 3 looks based on the cultural images that I found on Google. The ones that I found were Native American, the Picts. Man, those 2 colors together look fucking... I didn't realize they were going to look that cool. I think, why am I always surprised when things look so fucking cool? So now I'm going to use the more tapered BEILT blending brush. I'm going to use Fenrir, or however you say it. It's this gray, dirty, am I going to regret this? So the Picts wore makeup, and then the Native Americans wore cosmetics when they were in battle. And then also, I did a lot of research on what like the samurai geisha idea. And although I found many images of samurai geisha, I did not find any research to back that. What I did find was that there were female samurais, but they weren't like putting on makeup and like, so that just wasn't a thing that I could find. So that kind of took the piss out of it for me. The images were super amazing. And then also like I kind of just missed the boat on it. My research took so long that I just never filmed it. And then it was kind of looking like we're all putting our hands down for a while. I think I like this. I think I like this better than what I was gonna do, just because it gives it that cool tone, dirty look. Not grungy, but dirty, actually. I used bigger brushes this time. I was worried about using these bigger brushes because every time I use bigger brushes, I just don't get the impact that I want. So it seems like all my pictures on Instagram when I use bigger brushes just don't really like, bam, like drive it home for me the way that using smaller, more precise brushes does. So I was nervous, but I also didn't want this to look like perfect. I'd like to do another look with this palette that does look more precise, but not this one. I'm gonna go back in with the BEILT brush and go back into the color Shield Maiden, the blue. I haven't been filming or able to do as much lately with my channel because I have been charged with the task of creating a training for a mentoring program. An agency in Missoula is starting a mentoring program for people that go into the prison and mentor people that are in prison that are coming out and re-entering into society. Quite some time ago, I got an email asking if I would create this training. I told them that I would be able to do it in July because I was going to graduate in July 2nd to be exact. And because of quarantine, that did not happen. That was Yggdrasil. Should I Google these words? How do you fucking pronounce Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil. So I'm going into Shield Maiden, which I pronounce just fucking fine. And I'm just gonna blend that out and like deepen up this blue just to get it like more. I told them I would be able to do it in July, and I was supposed to be graduated in July, but then that didn't happen because of quarantine. And so now I'm writing this training, going to school. My kid got sick last week. That sunk my battleship. Like, I couldn't go to school. I couldn't do any of the things that I needed to do. And so on top of everything, I haven't been sleeping. I haven't been eating. I haven't been doing any of the things that I need to take care of myself. And so basically, I haven't been able to film or do anything like that because I'm kind of coming unraveled. But the good news is I took the week off of school. I got sick. My daughter was sick. I was feeling rough like shit. And so I've had the last couple days, yesterday and today, off from school, and it's been pretty fucking glorious. And so now I just get to do makeup, and I'm really grateful that I get to just sit here and film without a care in the world and talk about like creating this training and how in line with the meaning of this palette, I was thinking earlier about how I'm a fighter. Like, I'm creating this training because I'm a fighter, and I have a transferable skill set, right? So like, I had a certain skill set when I was using and like living on the street, like that's what they call it, like on the street, like when you're clean in recovery and you talk about when you were not clean, it's like on the street. Like sometimes I was on the streets. Actually, but then sometimes I wasn't, but it's still like referred to as like on the street. Like, I'm so street, dude. Anyway, I'm going into Fenrir, who's the wolf son, and just blending this out and making it dirty looking. And then, how's that blend, guys? Good enough for the guys I date. Because I'm a fighter and like I have a transferable skill set. So I'm a fighter and I'm a fucking hustler. Like those are the skills that I learned when I was on the street. Today, like as a result of like just all the work I've done and everything like that, and like we all have a transferable skill set, period. Like we all have it. I'm going to use the Voldemorphe M508 smudger, and I'm going to go into Ink Drizzle, and I'm just going to take this all along my lower lash line, all the way to the inner. Like, since I got clean, like, I don't necessarily beat anybody up anymore, which I can't ever promise that I won't ever beat anybody up anymore. But, like, I've been given the ability to, like, fight the system. And so it's pretty fucking great. I'm really good at it. And the longer I stay clean and the more I like hone that in, the more effective it is. And it's like actually working. I'm just going to use this like flat shader brush, and I'm going to go into the color Shield Maiden with that. And I'm going to use that because I don't want this to be that precise. I actually think I'm going to end up blowing this the fuck out. So I get to fight the system in ways that are actually working. And so one of the things that I am pretty devoted to is changing the criminal justice system and criminal justice reform. And some of you that I've like spoken to on Instagram and stuff like that know this about me, but a lot of you guys don't. The work that I did before I started going to cosmetology school, I'm going into Fenrir with my BEILT tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to smoke this out. When I got clean, I thought I was nervous because I'm basically a pretty angry person. Like, I'm just an angry person. And I was scared that when I got clean, that part of me was going to go away. But it hasn't. What has happened is that I don't have to be angry all the time at the cost of my own happiness. And I don't have to be angry in situations that are going to create devastating consequences for me. I can be angry and it doesn't steal my life. I am angry. I'm angry about the way that things are. And so instead of like, I'm just angry enough to do something about it. Every once in a while, I just do something about it. You know what I mean? I feel like we all have that, a transferable skill set, right? These things that we're just inherently good at. I'm just going back in and reinforcing those 3 colors on the lower lash line because I want them to really like, I want it to be like impactful, but I'm not taking the shape and going like this with it. I mean, it's a little wingy, but I'm not going to do my normal thing because I don't want this to look glamorous. I want it to look fucking hardcore. Now I'm just going to go into Fenrir again and just blend this out and pull it all down and really get that cool tone gray all over, like the Eaters of the Dead and shit. The Eaters of the Dead. It's the name of the book that was The 13th Warrior. So the book, The 13th Warrior, the book was called The Eaters of the Dead. I read it on a flight one time and fuck, it was really good. Anyways, that's what I want to look like. I want to look like bones and fucking war right now. I think that's pretty good. Pretty close. It's close to bones and war. I thought that anger was going to leave me, but what I've been given the gift of being able to do is like take that anger and use it for something good. And it doesn't have to, like, my ulcers aren't bleeding today because I'm so angry. You know what I mean? But I'm fucking angry enough to fucking put my foot down and stand up for what I believe in. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I just was going to talk about while I was putting my fucking war on, my war makeup. That was just the gray. I'm using my BEILT. I'm going to use this BEILT flat brush. It's like rounded to apply my NYX glitter primer on the lid. And then I'm going to use this BEILT flat shader brush, and I'm going to go into the color Bifrost. And I'm just going to place this all over the lid. And I'm just going to take one last and spray it. And then I'm going to take this JESSUP 227 and I'm just going to blend this because I don't want that line to be that precise. I kind of want it to be like a little bit fucked up. And then just blend this out right here. Man, that egg drizzle is the gift that keeps on giving, huh? And I'm just kind of just blowing this out. I'm going to take this JESSUP 230 and I'm going to go into the color Valkyrie. And I'm just going to take that a little tiny bit. I'm going to spray it. And I'm just going to put that right along the highest point. Because this has like a bluish, purpley shift. And then I'm just going to take this BEILT flat shader and just kind of... I'm going to take that same JESSUP brush and I'm going to go into Valkyrie again. And I'm going to use that for my inner corner highlight. And I'm just blending this out. Tapping this. Do I need a brow bone highlight? Tapping it. And then I'm going to use this BEILT tapered blending brush, and that has that bone gray color, thin mirror. I want more of that. Yeah, that looks... I'm going to go do my other eye, finish my face, and I'll be back when I'm done. There. So this is the finished look, the manifesto. I used my Rouge and Rogue lashes in Miss Fury. Of course, what else would I have used? I used my Black Moon Cosmetics Moonlighter in Jellyfish as my highlighter, and then I used my Melt Cosmetics matte lipstick in Tomboy. It looks like this. Another one. I've been waiting for the perfect fucking look to wear it with. I just used my... NYX Epic Ink Liner to do a little tiny wing on the inside and make it look like more battle ready. And dude, I fucking think this looks badass. I mean, I partially think it's the way I didn't do my hair. I literally was like, and it just did this. So like... Hashtag blessed. I fucking think this looks badass. I was thinking at first that like the shadows all blended really well. I wasn't like super wowed by them or whatever. It's not like I was like, oh my God. But also these colors aren't the exact colors that would have been problematic anyway. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, this pigment. But this is a pretty good palette. It was actually really affordable. I think it was like 22 bucks. And I used a code that was actually from somebody that I've never heard of. Yeah, this is a badass palette. palette, and I actually have a couple, I'm actually pretty inspired by the color story. I have a couple of other looks that I kind of want to do with it like right away. So I may or may not do that. Like I say, I'm fucking bogged the fuck down, dudes, like bogged down. So I hope you guys love this look. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell because you can't wait to see what happens next. Hit the like button if you like this look, or if you just like my sparkling personality and my boyish charm, and hang out with me in the comments because I fucking love it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys could have been anywhere, but you were here spending your precious... I used my Milk makeup gel liner in Boss. I just went black. Thank you so much for watching. You guys could have been anywhere, but you were here spending your precious, valuable time with me, and I totally appreciate you. Later.